The rapid fire questions is the only ones that I don't remember at all because I make them last minute.
We're gonna edit this out, right?
Depends.
Said no.
Depends on how I feel about it when I'm sitting in the editing chair.
That was great. Good?
That felt good. Psych is here to do a nice little spotlight piece. Psych Montano, not Montana. Don't fuck it up. Ever. He'll come for you. Cheers to the cocktails that we just made. If you want to know more about these guys, we made them on the previous video. How you want to start this off, eh?
You drive, I hold the map.
What got you started in music?
My cousin was the one who kind of got me into it because he was writing when he was like 16, 15, and I was like young. So when I turned like 13, 14, I was like, I want to try that. Like I was always a writer. I used to write like short stories when I was a little kid. I used to read chew books like constantly. So I had a lot of information in my head. And then I just started finding beats online and just trying to like figure out how to write, and it was so bad because I was trying so hard to be good that I wasn't saying anything. After getting some feedback from people and just trying to figure out like what I should be doing, it kind of developed into something a little bit more fluent for me, and that became like the main way that I expressed myself. Like instead of writing essays, I would submit songs in like AP classes, like, and get A's.
What?
Yeah, it
That's
was like
sick.
that. Yeah, I remember I wrote a song in senior year about Great Gatsby, and I wrote like a 3-verse with like a hook, like synopsis of the story and all the metaphors and symbolism in the thing. And my teacher pulled me after class. She was like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" She's like, "This is the craziest thing I've ever seen." She's like your wordplay, your metaphors, like what you're actually saying, and like clearly you understand the material, but it goes so beyond like the understanding that I needed you to have. Like you're fluent in like this text, which was awesome. So once I got to college, I started getting serious. I worked with Cambada, and then after that, it was like, let's do it, like actually take it seriously. Because, you know, it used to be a hobby.
Yeah.
It used to just be like a way for me to express myself and get my thoughts onto paper and kind of like filter out some of the nonsense in my head. But eventually it was like, I could actually maybe do something with this kind of.
The fact that you were like writing songs and verses as like essays for submissions in AP classes.
I did it in college too, instead of writing papers.
That's a really cool way to get feedback though.
Mm-hmm. Kind of had to do it on the down low because like nobody else was allowed to do that.
Consistently getting that feedback, I'm sure, has like led to a lot of self-improvement, which that's crazy.
Yeah, they could have just failed me and be like, "This is not what I asked you to do." And
what would you say would be like one of the things that like, or one of the many things that probably influenced your current style?
I mean, it's a few things. Ironically enough, I was in a metal band in high school. Performance-wise, I did musical theater, I did plays, acting. I like dropped all sports. I used to play baseball and basketball, and dropped everything, and then just started doing anything that I could do that was on stage, just to like get rid of those nerves. And then when I got to college, I was in an a cappella group. I had to drop that because it was like 30 hours of rehearsal a week. I wasn't going to class, like it was crazy. But I learned a lot from that. So I'm a very well-rounded like music person. I'm a classically trained singer from like very young, so I was always in chorus. And when I got to college and started doing the rap, it started to kind of bring everything together, like a little bit of the rock, a little bit of the hip hop, a little bit of the classical music, like all kind of came together at that point. Like I said, I was listening to Nas, I was listening to M. I had a lot of old school stuff, Tribe Called Quest, Fushnikins, like stuff that people don't talk about too much anymore. That's where all the vibes came from, and like my dad's a DJ from the Bronx. Like he was there during the blackout, like he was there during the birth of hip hop. You know, he lived not too far from Sedgwick Avenue where the first hip hop show was thrown by Kool Herc. So like I was kind of handed all of that. He was just like, here's a hard drive of 5,000 plus songs, do your homework, you know.
That's cool.
You can't appreciate M, you can't appreciate Jay-Z until you learn where all of this stuff kind of comes from.
What was it like being a rapper in that area before you came out here?
Actually, where I lived in Long Island, I'm from Suffolk County,
Okay.
and hip hop in the last like 6 or 7 years was banned. You were not allowed to throw hip hop shows in Suffolk County. So where I was, there was nothing going on. I couldn't even go to open mic nights really often because they just weren't available. Like I said, I was in a metal band playing guitar for years because that was just the music scene that was popping. That was where we were able to find success and just be able to do our thing. And then when I went upstate New York for school, it was like a very weird hip hop scene because it's kind of like a bunch of towns spread out, and then like people were doing stuff, but there's no venues, there's no shows being thrown. It was very surprising because you think being from New York, you have all the opportunity, but if you're not already plugged into the network with a following or a portfolio, like you can't.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, if you're not a
cares.
rapper, it's weird in New York. You know what I mean? If you're not an artist working a full-time job, why are you in New York? Like people are there to make it.
You've mentioned before at one of our shows that there was not a lot of love out there. Even outside of hip hop, there was just not a lot of love for the music scene.
I mean, if you had a good crowd with you, like I remember my dude Lifestat and then my old producer Stigmata, they threw a hip hop show at Revolution in Amityville. We threw a hip hop show there. They told me it took 2 years to get that spot. We had no headliner. We sold about 200 plus tickets that night. Like they made bread that night and then weren't allowed to book another show. And nothing bad happened at all. It's literally just the connotation of hip hop versus like rap and what people think comes with that type of scene.
What was the process in you coming out to like Tampa?
Like I said before, I worked with Cambada in college, and that kind of like got me focused because he's such a like high tier lyricist. I had found out through his social media that he used to live in Tampa. When I found out that he was in Tampa at one point, I was like, "Do you know anybody out here?" And he gave me, told me about Chris Jackson. He told me about H. He gave me kind of a list of people. But one of the people he mentioned was Mike Mass. He's like, get some beats from him, but he's like the go-to guy in Tampa. Like if you want shows, like you need to link up with Mike. And I hit up Mike. I was like, yo, like I just moved. Cambada told me to reach out to you. I've done some work with him, and he said that you'd be a good person to link with. I'm like trying to get into the scene. And Mike was like, Cambada sent you? And I was like, yeah. He was like, come through and pick me up right now. That was really it from there. Like once I started rolling with them, I started to kind of earn my stripes out here. But it was like the easiest decision I've ever made.
Yeah.
Coming out to Tampa.
I'm glad you made the move.
Me
Number of us are glad that you made the move because it's been sick having you out here. I've been having a good time. I'm glad we met. I'm glad we performed together too.
And we got a song together. Check that shit out.
Yes, we do. Which song is that?
First, I just left court.
Oh yeah, is that gonna be out by the time I drop this video?
No.
Okay. Check it out in the future.
Exactly.
Going off of that, what's your process for writing verses and how do you attack tracks?
Kind of like the Michael Jackson kind of mentality, like the song writes itself, you don't write the song. You don't get a beat and then you just put something on it. Like when I wrote Thundercloud, perfect example, I was very on the fence about getting that beat. Yeah, I was listening to it, I was like, something about it, I have to get it and it's just gonna happen one day. And then a couple months later, I was listening to the beat and it was kind of like a cloudy day, I was in a bad mood, and I was just like, yo, I should write a song about like how I feel right now, like to this beat. Like the beat was, it brought it out of me. And that's kind of how every single beat that I rap on is, I approach it that way. Like if it doesn't speak to me, I don't write to it. That's kind of how I've always approached it, like since I started taking it seriously, is I get a beat, what's the vibe of the song, what do I need to do to make this song better, and then I kind of just go with the flow there. I have a beat with no lyrics on it, no hook or anything, let's just write a verse.
Yeah.
I have plenty of songs with 16s and nothing else yet, because it was just one day I wrote a crazy verse and I don't know what to do with it from there.
Getting the 16 down sometimes is super easy, and then all of a sudden you're like, what do I do with this?
Right, I can't beat this. That's usually what happens.
I've nailed everything I want to say in this 16 bars.
Exactly. It's different with hip hop because like the music is generally supplied to you already, unless you're making something like live in the studio with someone, or they're sending you like samples that you can use that turn into something. But for the most part, you usually get your beat made, versus like the rock band in high school, like we wrote everything from scratch. We had a cellist in the band, so like it was really cool to like come up with music just playing riffs. And then my bro, who was the lead vocalist, like he was crazy with the lyrics, so very, very different process. But with hip hop, a lot of the times you have the music, so you have to let the music speak for itself.
I think we can wrap up the main portion of it from here. We'll take it to a segment that I like to call Shots Fired. I have,
The fuck is that?
I got Indie Blue. I'm calling this Indie Blue Serum, Indie Blue Truth Serum. I don't know what to call it, but we're gonna take,
It's like ghetto hypnotic.
it's not great.
It's not great.
I'll tell you what, you just had a root canal, which
Yeah, it was horrible.
props to you. So we're just gonna do, we're in little mini ones, rapid fire questions. Don't even think about the answer.
After the shot,
After the shot.
thumbs up.
All right, let's run it. Cheers.
Salud.
Salud. Oh, yeah. Not great. Not great. Illmatic or Blueprint?
Illmatic.
Nicki Minaj or Megan Thee Stallion?
Nicki.
Performing music or making music?
Pass.
Go back to it. Go back to it. Bars or vibes?
Bars.
Magic the Gathering or chess?
You know me, magic. Hold on, what was the one that I passed? So
performing music or making music?
I asked to go with performing.
Performing? I think we're all on the same page with that.
Yeah.
Solo projects or joint EPs?
Solo projects.
Solo
At the
projects.
end of the day, yeah.
Cambada or can't buy it.
Are you serious?
Well, that concludes the spotlight. Psych, thank you for being here.
It was
I
awful.
appreciate you.
Whatever that was terrible.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, but you know, I don't know why I come up with these stupid ideas, but I just
Genius.
Sure, that's a word for it. You can check out Psych Montano everywhere at Psych Montano, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Psych 101 is available on all streaming platforms. You can buy it anywhere.
Yeah.
Anything that can stream or play music, it'll be there.
He'll be on Indie River. He'll have a merch line on Indie River. As soon as that goes live, we'll let you know through Instagram or whatever it may be. Keep your creativity flowing. However you like. He did like a freestyle kind of and flubbed it.
Flow.
Flow.
That's it. It's just flow.
Yeah. Flow.
Alright, give me some finger guns.
I don't finger gun often.